before?
Yeah, could you hear us before? You have to tell us. Stop messing with us.
It's important. It's really important. Shut up. Okay, guys, looks like we're done.
Sorry, we were told to shut up. That's the show. We're done.
I think
Thanks
it was great.
Very important interview.
GG,
tip there. Just shut
everybody.
up. Yep.
It's what is going on in the chat room? Wicked.
What is going on in the chat room?
Moderate yourself.
Wait, chicken sex? What's this?
No, we're not talking about chicken sex.
Well, when
I'm confused.
mommy chicken and a daddy chicken love each other very much,
they make an egg, and then sometimes that egg gets eaten by us.
don't think about it too hard, kids.
Or adults, really.
Yeah.
Actually, don't think about it.
Yeah.
Chicken mages.
Chat room, you freaked us all out. We were talking about chicken, convinced you couldn't hear us, and then you all started talking about chicken, and you made all of us paranoid. So we're gonna be paranoid for the entire episode now.
Yeah, I don't think we can do it anymore.
Sexy chicken just waddled in here and ruined everything.
Now, technically, they didn't hear me call the chicken sexy.
They didn't.
But now
That's
they
because
know.
you didn't call it sexy. You wouldn't call it chicken sexy.
Right.
Well,
You know.
some of those enthusiasts with their extraordinary chicken calendars might disagree.
I do know someone who has seen quite a few extraordinary chickens.
What is going on with the chat room?
At
Jeez,
least
guys.
12 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, minimum.
Monica, do you need to be put on
Do you need
Do you need a timeout?
Look, we'll be here when you get back.
Just go ahead and right-click yourself, timeout, be back in a little bit.
Okay, well, gosh. With that, what do you guys want to? Do you want to do a show?
I
don't know.
To.
It's all
I
gone.
love doing shows. I don't know if you know this about me, but I love doing shows.
It's all gone very weird. Our moderator is the one who's stirring up trouble.
Yeah.
There's chicken talk that shouldn't have been heard, that could have been heard.
Wow.
At least our cool Star Wars podcast name remains a well-guarded secret.
I'm glad. Well, we never said it was a clean chat. It's just a surprising chat.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
it certainly isn't a clean chat at the moment.
No.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and start us off and say something along the lines of, welcome to Azeroth the Roundtable, episode 253. Woo! No one else cares. Awesome. I'm Ben Bumhopper. With me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben! It's Friday night here in Azeroth, and I'm super excited to be joining you here at the Round Table.
Yes, we are here together. It is Friday. You are correct in everything that you've said so far.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you haven't said is that we are not the only people here. So I'll say that.
Okay, good.
We are not the only people here with us this week. I'm very happy to introduce and welcome Spencer. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you for having me back. This is wonderful. I enjoy shows. Your show is great.
Oh, well, thank you. I enjoy shows too. Your show is also great.
Oh, thank you.
Look at we're all great, but that's not all. Spencer's not alone. We also have Jason
I
with
brought
us.
someone with me.
Yes.
Hi.
Thank you, guys.
Well,
An
oh my
honor
gosh.
and a pleasure to be returning. Thank you
You
guys for
smuggled
having
them
us.
in.
Yeah, we
did.
got you.
Yeah.
We got you in here real quick because you were all being real good and not talking until introduced, and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's
We're-
pro-
I'm just not
proper
used to that.
podcast etiquette. Darn it.
Yeah,
Right,
good job,
I
guys.
was with you at the top, Ben. I didn't mean to leave you hanging with the woos, but I didn't know if I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared to.
It's okay. I could see it in your eyes.
Yeah.
You were there. You were like,
I was in the moment. Yeah, I just didn't know what was appropriate. So
that's all right. Wow. So there's this game that we all play called World of Warcraft.
Mhm.
From time to time, it gets updated every now and then.
Yep.
Gosh, there was kind of a bomb that was dropped earlier this week. Was it just yesterday?
it was, I believe it was Yeah, last night.
Oh my gosh, because this entire week has felt like a year to me. So, okay. So, John, do you know what happened?
I do, but I'm going to say, no, Ben, what happened?
Oh my gosh, it's the most amazing thing. So, actually, I don't entirely know what happened because I've been really busy with stuff. So, Spencer, what happened?
Well, that
Throw
fell
the baton
apart.
at me.
That
I'm
went
just over
really
here
well.
being quiet, and you're like, no, here, baton. Well, I mean, other than a ton of data mining that started pouring out from beta content that we are all kind of excited for, we also found out there's going to be another Q&A happening on Tuesday for the Battle for Azeroth stuff with Ian Hazakostas, and it's focused on Battle for Azeroth. My cat is climbing onto my desk.
That's
that is
you know,
exciting.
really, that's the biggest WoW announcement.
It is.
Wow.
Right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it made everybody go wow. Well, it
What's
made
the
Ben
cat's
go
name?
wow, and
What's your cat's name?
Carter.
Hi, Carter.
Yes.
That's
He's hanging out. He's going to hang out.
That's cool.
Apparently. That's the thing.
you know,
That's
hey,
cool.
welcome to the
Yeah.
round table.
So, Jason, did I miss anything in that announcement?
No, because really, as far as what has officially come out of the Warcraft team, it has only been the announcement of the Q&A on Tuesday. And, you know, they don't really talk about when they push stuff to servers that are publicly pingable and data mineable. So, yeah, there is an alpha buildup on a server that people can hit, and man, they're hitting it hard. There's a lot of new models and music and all kinds of string changes and stuff that are there, which is exciting. And there was something weird about this this Q&A announcement because it's on a Tuesday, which is weird. They're usually on
usually it's
Thursdays.
Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's later in the day. It's at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, and it's usually earlier than that by at least an hour. And also, they hit it really hard on socials with like an announcement image that also had the Central European time, which they never do. So they really want a lot of eyeballs on this particular stream. And also the announcement said, Ian will be answering your Battle for Azeroth questions because Legion is done, right? There's basically no more Legion development. It seems like this is pretty much confirmation of that.
Yeah.
So we are, you know, hurtling into a new era. And I'm expecting some actual, like, exciting news on Tuesday, not just like, yeah, Battle for Azeroth's coming out in 2018.
We
and then
did
every
it,
single
everybody.
question,
We did
What's
it.
the date? What's the release date? We'll tell you
2018.
later.
Next question.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, they just have the beta or alpha or whatever just on a server somewhere that people still have like some sort of pinging access to. That's essentially what's happening. Like there aren't people that, as far as we know, who are out in the world and not Blizzard employees who are playing it.
No, because there's been nothing about that. So yeah, there's like a data server that data miners can hit and pull stuff off of, and these assets are there now. You know, I'm sure there's got to be obviously playable internal builds, maybe some kind of friends and family alpha or something. But yeah, I guess the thing that's up there is tagged as an alpha build. So I don't know. I mean, for WoW, that doesn't really mean the distinction between alpha and beta. I feel like is pretty thin. It's just, you know, it's their whatever they decide to call it at whatever stage of development they're at. I mean, if you had a chance to play BFA on the floor at BlizzCon, like all the art assets were done from the stuff that we got to play. There wasn't, you know, boxes or anything, and you know there was quest and voiceover dialogue already there, and you know it was a very playable product on the floor, and that was a few months ago already. So you know I think the alpha beta distinction is not strong, and who knows, maybe they'll be inviting people to play on a build that's called an alpha, but I mean, what does that mean with a product like this?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jason, what you're saying is that the game is prepped and we're getting it in April.
No, I don't think so. But I think it is. I think it is. You know, maybe still sneaking in the front half of 18, barely. I think maybe by summertime we'll be playing it, but April might be. I mean, wouldn't that be the ultimate like mic drop? Like Ian just strides out into the recording room on Tuesday and is
you're all
like,
gonna play it on Tuesday.
like yeah, pre-orders are open, beta servers are going live on Thursday, and the game's coming out in late April.
Yeah.
That would be crazy, but I don't think that's going to happen, but I'd be thrilled. I'm ready. If that's what they want to do, I'm ready.
All I would need is for them to open the mage tower all the time and let me just devote my life to fighting friggin' lady.
Imp lady?
Yeah, imp lady, like nonstop. That'll just be my life for a while. I'll be doing the show. You'll just hear click, 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 click. And John, what are you doing? I'm fighting her because I'm out of time because I procrastinated and I'm bad at the game.
But once you get it, you'll feel so good. What getting your chosen challenge appearance is honestly one of the most rewarding things I think they've included in this game, maybe ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to do it still on my monk's healing spec, but having gotten it a couple of times on my monk and then also obviously all the ones on my druid, it's definitely a very rewarding and fulfilling experience, especially when you're doing it around the 900 eye level range on a character where like it first launched, because it was really hard when you were that low on eye level. Once you get up to the 930s and 40s, you definitely have a lot of cushion to play with. So
Yeah.
that's very helpful. But yeah, I would be curious if the mage tower cooldowns actually, if the build times and all that get dramatically reduced towards the end of the expansion to try and help people finish that up faster.
They did
I really hope so.
They did say that they had the technology to leave them on permanently. So my hope would be that they just flip that switch and just like, okay, they're just
Right.
up. The Legion's
Right.
so decimated
Yeah.
from everything you've done that they're not breaking buildings anymore. They
They can't even send the
good.
bats over. The bats are like, we give up.
Yeah, the bats are like, why are we guys? Come on. Come
Yeah,
on.
and hopefully they'll also make it free as well, so you don't have to farm any nether shards.
That would be
Yeah.
a great little end of Legion change. Just let
Yeah.
everybody run that all day until they get whatever they want.
Yep, I would
Make it
actually be
happen,
really happy
Blizzard.
about that.
Let's do
I
it.
mean, granted, I've got like I think something about 168 attempts on it before I run out of nether shard, so I'm probably okay.
Yeah, it's 100 per attempt, so it's not that bad.
Oh, and your
Yeah.
first
these
one's free.
days. Yeah, and your first one's free because of course, and all people one shot these things all the time. It's
I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, obviously.
No, they do not. I think the only one I one shot was the feral druid one. Was the only one I've one shot out of all of those, and I was 950 something eye level when I walked into that place. So
No.
Okay, that kind of
destroyed
makes
it.
sense.
I feel a
Yeah.
little
And-
better now.
Yeah.
Because
And,
I'm
yeah,
bad.
and if you've done it on other characters, you actually know what to expect since there's only 3 different challenges.
Well, you'd bring up the YouTube video, right? And you're like, oh, what is this? Oh, it's this challenge. Okay, well, I can figure
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah,
I need to
I'm-
interrupt this one time and then do a lot of AoE damage, and then interrupt again and do a lot of AoE damage. All right.
Yeah, I'm at the part where it's like I'm finally starting to work on it and everything, and I almost got past the first bit of the healing part for the monk. So I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
all right. As soon as I get past that, it's pretty much smooth sailing until the end fight. And then
What's
well, and
what's
by
the-
smooth sailing, I mean, okay, well, it's still kind of challenging, but from everything that I've seen, the next bit's like, it's not as hard as that first initial stage, and then the very end, because,
yeah.
like, I guess at the very end, your party actually takes damage based on how much health you have, so you need to keep your health kind of low, and then you're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's part of it. It's also about healing up all the little ads before they reach the center dude, because
Mhm.
depending on how you have to heal a certain amount of them for him to actually transition out of that phase properly and not just kill everyone. So there's a dynamic to that too. But yeah, no, I dug it. I haven't done it since I did it at like 895 eye level, so I have horrible memories of the like 16 hours I put into getting that done in the first time it was up. But it if by the first part of it you mean that first opening platform, yeah, that's definitely the hardest part, and it's a dance to learn and memorize, and then it's just damage, which I actually kind of shook my head at when they first put these out, because I was like, I have to the next 2 parts is me doing damage as
Yeah.
a healer. Like, this seems weird.
it's kind of odd, but I mean, at least you have some decent punchy kick moves that you can as a monk. But
Yeah.
I'm just kind of not all that into that part of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, my biggest thing, my biggest hurdle right now isn't so much even learning the dance. I've gotten it to where she's teleported twice now, for the rogue one.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm that far. I feel like I know the dance. I feel like I know what I need to do. My biggest problem is this is trying to teach me a type of patience I don't have in this game, which is, okay, that was a great big waste of time. let's do it again, and then let's
Yep.
do it again after that. And
Yep.
I have no chill when it comes to that. I hit like 3 times, and I'm like, F this, I'm gonna go do something else.
Yeah.
It feels like a platformer that you have 3 lives on kind of thing. So if you lose 1 life, you get hit once too early in it, you're like, I'm done. I got to start over again. I got hit. I shouldn't have gotten hit there, and now I can't survive this thing that happens in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So let's just start over, and then you're like, okay, let's try this again. Nope. It's punishing. Like that's why it feels very platformery to me. It's a very punishing thing. And you really are learning a dance. One of the comments about the new Mario game that's out that a lot of people talk about is that it teaches you how to do each level. Like you don't. It's very rare you walk in and just solo a level. Often you die partway through it, but then you learn what's going to happen when the mobs are going to do things, and it's a repeatable pattern. And all of these are that. There's some RNG dynamics of it, but a lot of them are very straightforward. Of the same thing's going to happen. It's the same rotation. It's the same thing. So just learn the dance, and you can eventually get through it. But as soon as you screw up one step, sometimes it's like, nope, you failed. You got to start over.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I really need to work on getting that too, because now that, one of my goals for Legion has been finally completed, I can actually focus on another one. So yay!
What
Pretty
goal would
psyched about
that be?
I got a fox mount in the works. I got my torn invitation last night.
Congratulations!
I was so happy. I mean, okay, so here's the thing. I'm like, okay, I streamed it once before. I'm gonna go ahead and just stream my disappointment yet again. And so I'm out there. I go through my mage, go through my monk, and slowly I've been going through and actually like doing the warrior order hall where you send your minions out to go actually finish stuff for you. So I did that for like the first 2 days, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I just really need to do one more on each of those. So finally, I'm like, okay, I'm on my warrior. I've got one left to do. Luckily, the barrel game was right there. So I go down, do the barrel game really quick, go back down. I'm like, okay, well, here's more disappointment or whatever. Open up the thing, and I got a legendary. I'm like, woohoo! First legendary on the warrior. This is great. Oh, I also got the torn invitation. This is even better. So,
did it feel like that thing? Have you guys ever noticed this? I have a weird WoW conspiracy theory. I want to know if I'm the only one who has thought this. Does it sometimes feel like the WoW loot system breaks and it just decides to give you something from like every rarity value all of a sudden all at once, and you don't feel like you got the item so much as like something in the code broke? Because it was like, it wasn't that you looted Ashes of Valar, it was that you that's a bad example because he's gonna always drop the same stuff, but it's not that you got this thing that you were really trying for, it's that you got a couple gray items, a blue item, a purple item, and there's the rare item that you really wanted too, and it's like, wait, I think I just broke the game. This is too much stuff. I don't think this went right. I think something in this game broke.
Yeah, it's like Mario Kart rubber banding, but for the loot system.
Yeah,
exactly. Or it's like all of a sudden the sentience of the game is like, oh, you know what? I've been an actual dick to this person for a while here. Let's make it up. Here's everything. Just take it. We're cool now, right? You're gonna keep coming back, right?
Yeah, I do think there's an element to that. Yeah, but I mean, with some of the way the caches work in this expansion, where you can get loot from a really wide table, like your Mythic Plus cache or something, where literally anything you can equip from any of the dungeons could be in there. I mean, some weird stuff is bound to happen, I guess. So you can go for long stretches of like nothing exciting is happening, and then something insane happens, and it really sticks out because you're used to nothing exciting happening.
Exactly. Of course, then again, all my raiding loot that's been happening, for the most part, hasn't really seemed to work out all that well for me either. It's like getting, double tokens. Woohoo! I'm happy about that. But then I randomly have 2 pieces of tier now, so I guess it's not that bad. But still, it just totally feels like completely out of proportion at times.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think it's the nature of the way loot works in an RPG, where it's like it's just going to be spiky sometimes. You're going to have these peaks and valleys. And the other thing too is a lot of times once you get the stuff that you want, then you don't want anything, and then it's like, okay, well now what do? I guess I play somebody else
friends and raid.
Yeah, but sometimes that like lack of a thing to the chase can be better than the catch with some of that stuff. Sometimes,
yeah,
it kind of depends. I mean, there's some things that you want just because, like with Legion legendaries or with tier pieces, they're build changers, they're rotation changers, you know, that's stuff that you need to be able to perform well or to play like the most optimal way. So it feels really bad if you don't have those. But then on the other hand, like sometimes you chase that one trinket or something for 8 weeks and then you get it and you just feel kind of deflated because it's like, well, I already got to where I was going without it and now I have it, but so what? So you know, that could be kind of weird sometimes, the spikiness of those loot peaks and valleys.
I think part of it is that keeps, well, at least inside my situation right now playing, and probably for you too, Jason, is because we're actually exploring into mythic content this raid tier a little bit more than we did last one. It's making me want to play my main character more because there's that chance at Titan forging and all that sort of stuff that happens. And any loot upgrade that I can get from a heroic and a random drop like that actually still feels like it's contributing towards something. It's not just, you know, gravy on top of more gravy on top of more gravy on top of more gravy. You're actually getting something that you feel like is going to be useful and helpful. Whereas typically at this stage of the expansion, if there wasn't that drive, that extra chunk of content to do, I'd be bouncing from alt to alt to alt inside a raid, just gearing different ones so I can do mage tower stuff or I can do other stuff in the world a lot easier. So I feel like at least that Titan forging thing is a little bit more of a gimme for keeping people interested in actually continuing to do the content. And then they did the whole, you know, the thing that they did at the last expansion where you get the item to upgrade your trinket constantly, which is the other nice thing, right? You kill Argus and you keep getting the 5 more eye levels.
Yeah, but you definitely have a pull to clear Argus every week up to whatever it is. I guess it's like 16 weeks or something to fully upgrade it. Which
and you get one for a different spec. I have 4 specs.
Yeah. I wonder, I don't know. Do you have to change your loot spec to get one for a different spec? Because I only have the one.
Imagine, yeah. By now, I imagine I would have seen one for one of my other specs if I did. So,
I mean, that is a nice little addition for last raid tier. You know, it was a little bit ridiculous with the legendary rings in Hellfire because they went up so far, and it was like, well, geez, what are we going to be doing by the time we get our rings upgraded that far? And then it was like, oh, we're going to upgrade the other rings that we have, and then we're going to do this for 4 more months.
And then we're going to throw them away after 5 levels.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't suspect that we'll be in that boat with Antorus, but it is nice when they tack on these things to really chase or to feel like at least, oh, I had a bad loot week. You know, I didn't get the thing that I wanted, but I got a little upgrade on my trinket and that boosts my whole item level. And the thing that the trinket upgrade actually upgrades is not the proc, but it's the primary stat that's on it. So you're always getting more of that stat every week as you continue to participate. So, you know, I think those are nice little additions for an end expansion tier.
Yeah, and I think for me, one of the things that makes stuff like the Mage Tower so appealing is that reward, at least, again, for me, everybody's going to have their own different goals in the game, but that's a reward that's going to carry into the next expansion, you know, and that's one of the things that Blizzard isn't always top of mind when it comes to cosmetic rewards, but there's something that feels good. Like, we were looking through the data mined models and stuff like that, and I was looking at a lot of the items and things like that, and it's going to be, there's a very particular aesthetic that it looks like the Horde will be getting, being on the, you know, in the primarily troll zones. And it looks cool, but it's not for me, is the best way that I would describe it. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. It's not my favorite. It's not what I would, you know, want for my character necessarily. And so the potential to get an item in the game that I can transmog my weapons to and constantly have it look like how I envision that character in my mind, what I envision them using and fighting with, like, that's going to be something that I will carry through the entire expansion probably. I imagine that when you see me at max level, I will still be transmogged into the swords from the Mage Tower, just because it fits the theme and how I feel the character should look. And that's something that's really unique to cosmetic type rewards. And that's why I'm glad that they're leaning a little more into that sort of stuff and that sort of stuff to unlock, because there's a relevance that carries from expansion to expansion for that isn't always there with gear. Because, like Ben
Yep.
said, we put all that time into those rings, 5 levels into the new expansion. All right, take them off, throw them in the river. There they go.
Yeah,
So-
it's funny. Like when you mention that, I think of the challenge dungeon sets from Pandaria are a great example of that. Like I never did that stuff because I hated the way challenge dungeons worked in that content. But
But
like
they look so cool.
they look amazing. Some of the coolest armor they've ever done to this day, even as they age. And like one of the hunters that we run with, like he just has mogged to that set every time he gets new gear forever for the last going on 6 years, because and it's like a badge of honor, it's a thing that you earned that was really hard to do. And the artifact appearances are just like that. And it's there's some of the nicest looking weapons we've ever seen. I doubt that the weapons that we're going to see in BFA are going to compare, honestly, because how could they? You need a whole bunch of different weapons that drop from everywhere. How could they all look as nice as the focal point of the art in Legion?
Yeah.
I don't really see it happening. And with the Mage Tower thing, it's like, again, that's a thing where you can really distinguish yourself. 10 years ago or longer, if you had like a full set of tier and you were running around in a city in full like tier 5 or something, everybody knew you were a badass. You can just mog whatever onto whatever, and nobody doesn't mog their gear, right? I mean, unless they're doing it as a joke or something. Like,
Yeah.
you have a matching set that you like, or a custom set that you put together from pieces that match, and it's not an outward indicator of what you've accomplished. And those Mage Tower weapons will always be like that. And the Pandaria challenge dungeon sets will always be like that. And that stuff is awesome. And I hope they find new and interesting ways to keep including that in the game, whatever it may be. Hopefully we see something like that in BFA somewhere, but I don't know. Based on what we know about it so far, I have no idea where they would kind of slide it in there. Because, what are you going to unlock new versions of your neck?
I got the best
there's a
neck in the
possibility.
whole game. It's
Yeah.
a real sweet neck.
Yeah, mine is a tie. I don't particularly like it very much, but
I went with the bolo option for
Mhm.
me.
where do you mog that from, or where does that drop?
Arizona.
Yeah, you have to go into the desert.
That's right.
Yeah.
Texas. So okay, well, first of all, Jason, you're totally right. Everybody does, well, it seems like everybody goes through and does their transmog. That's one of the reasons why after every boss we kill, as soon as we get outside, anybody have a transmog bounce?
The Mog Yak, dude, gotta have
Yep,
it.
exactly.
Gotta look
Why
good.
I
Look
bought
good,
it.
feel good, play good.
Mm-hmm.
I was sold
Yeah.
on the yak by John. You are into transmog more than anybody I know. Why don't you have the yak? And I was like, I can't argue with this logic. I
And then you
guess
went and
I'm
bought
getting
one.
rid of all my gold. Thanks.
And the
Hey,
Yak
you
is
know
really
what? We're
just an
helping.
excuse to go broke, because once you have it, then you have to spend gold to Mog. So
Mhm.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's a
there's
hefty
nothing wrong with
investment.
that.
The,
Nothing
oth-
wrong
the
with
other
that.
thing, the other thing I've seen crop up is in raids you have main spec, off spec, and transmog roles. So
Yep.
people are now like, well, I don't really need it, and I'm not going to use it, but I'll take it because it says that you have not acquired this item transmogrification yet. So I want that, so it's part of my collection for later.
Oh yeah,
Well,
and that's a real disconnect with me and my raid team, because to me, like, that's number one with a bullet. It's like, but John, somebody on the raid team can use this. Me too. I don't have this appearance unlocked.
Exactly.
Do you not
Well,
understand that I need
I would
this?
argue that it should at least go above off spec.
Mhm, mhm.
Like, why is it your
yeah,
off spec? Because you don't play it that much. So
Yeah, you need to look good in your good spec,
yeah, you
because
might use that
everybody
appearance
knows
forever.
the better you look, the more damage you do, the more hits you can take, and the better you heal. That's
It's player
fact.
psychology, man. You just
That's
feel
how it
good,
is.
and then you play better.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. So okay, that actually completely happened to me too in one of the what was it, Nightfallen or Nighthold? So
Yeah.
the monk set looks really cool in that raid. I absolutely love that tier monk set. It's so great. I had everything except for the belt, but the thing is, it dropped at one point, and because it was a huge upgrade to another monk that we had running with us at the time, I gave her the belt because I'm like, here you go, you need this, and it never dropped for me again, and I'm like, I need this look.
Oh.
Luckily, it's a BOE as well, so of course I spent 100,000 gold on the auction house just to complete this look, so I could have this cool looking belt to match everything else. And I'll tell you, it was great, and I wore it for like a week and then changed to a transmog.
But
Just a-
someday you can return to that.
Oh yeah,
Mog.
I will have that whole
And-
set.
You got an achievement. It
Yeah.
unlocked a thing in your set UI. Like
Yeah.
you filled in bars.
Yep.
That's easily worth 100K.
That
100K is
completionist
a
in you got a
pittance
lot happier.
for
Exactly.
to feel that the joy that you felt when you purchased that belt. That's a bargain.
I need
But the
to
worst
go on
part is-
another transmog run now.
Yes.
Actually, now that I think about it. It's been a while since I've gone through a bunch of raids and dungeons and seen what I did. I happen to have my 2 legendaries that are equipped are like heavy survivability, so I'm like, I could probably go to some not that old content and solo it at this point. I got... Shoot, I regen almost all my hit points every time I use Feint. I can use that on cooldown. That seems all right. We can go beat up some stuff.
Did you guys do the armor racks in your order halls? Do you have those filled out, or well, I guess for monks it's a little tricky because you don't really have a lot of options. But
Not a ton. But I mean,
yeah,
I can
have,
actually solo most of the Pandaria stuff at this point, I think.
yeah, but the
Filled
thing
out
is, you
most of
don't have.
mine.
I mean, how many racks are even in the monk order hall? Is there one,
Like
or is there not even
5?
one?
There's
Oh,
only
really?
4 in the
86?
druid one.
Yeah, there's 8 in the warrior one, and one of them's 60 knacks, which you can't do anymore, and I didn't have. So
All you need to do is buy them from the
Well,
Dark Moon Fair.
yeah.
Simple as that,
Well,
right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's the black market auction house, man. That's what that's there for.
yeah, I'm not investing in that. I'm investing in sub time, which is I predict going to get a lot more expensive gold wise
yes.
pretty soon. So I'll hang on to that
Oh,
gold instead of
yeah.
throwing it into the.
Yeah.
Look, that stupid
black-
spider mount might be mine at some point because of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I got $15 to spend. I've got gold.
There you go.
Gold for days now.
Yes.
Yeah, those armor racks are like enticing. And then I realized, like, oh, I have to go to friggin' Silithus for this.
well, yeah. If you want it, well, no, the AQ mog isn't on the rack. Could you imagine that? The AQ sets.
I think it is. The list I looked at said AQ was
It
included.
might be for rogues. It could
Maybe
be for rogues.
maybe for rogues it is. I don't
Yeah.
know, but it
It's-
isn't. It isn't for warrior.
It's ugly as sin. I don't even want it. It's the worst armor
Wait,
in
is
the
that
game.
is that like the green and yellow one?
It is the one that looks like a pixel was left next to a fireplace, and
They're like 4 polygons in the entire AQ set for each class. Like no offense to whoever made those sets 15 years ago.
Well, it's a
but,
long time ago. It's cool.
Like even at the time, like they did not look good for
No.
compared to other endgame gear. Like 'cause
That might have
stuff-
been when people started asking for transmog to be added to the game. It might have been during that raid. too.
Yeah.
yeah, we have
Like,
that to
hey-
thank for it.
Also, these dances are looking a little old too. Can we
Can we
get
get
those
a
updated?
studio maybe?
what,
Studio of dancing?
what inspired you for this armor set? Well, I love melted candles.
I thought if I could melt a candle in the shape of a bug and then put it on somebody's shoulder.
I was up really late, and I wasn't really sure what I was gonna do for it. So I was having this evening, and I woke up the next morning. There's a bunch of melted candles after my late night evening, and I just picked one up and brought it to work with me, and went, "This is my idea."
Have you
It's
heard
so
of
trolly, though, 'cause,
LSD?
like, at one point in
Got to be a
time.
race.
Like at one point in time, that AQ gear was so valuable, and it's so trolly of them to be like, here, you have to wear this, and you have to look like this.
and you have to
Hey,
work so hard
Welcome to
for
top
it.
tier rating.
It's
Yeah.
not even something that just drops and you put it on. You have to do so much extra crap for
Yep.
it. It's
And then
like,
ultimately
what are we
choose how
doing
dumb you want to
here?
look one piece at a time.
yeah,
That's great.
it is a long journey for a great disappointment. It is the worst.
Yeah.
One
so
day,
glad I came in during Crusade.
they're going
Where
to
the clown
revisit.
gear started.
They're going to revisit the AQ gear, and they're going to make it look like the most badass thing you've ever seen.
Dude, I mean, I think there's potential there, right? Like a Silithid kind of theme, like the insect races and doing like weird carapaces and stuff. Like bug monsters are cool, right? Like you could do
Look,
cool armor with that.
As long as all of it's living at the same time.
They're
Just walking around, there's bugs crawling all
as
over
long-
you. and
Yeah,
stuff.
everything's
As
just
long
yeah.
as they stick with their theme that they started this expansion and make like all the druid forms into bugs, so you have like a
Oh,
big,
man.
a giant like gargantuan beetle as the bear form or something like that, and then
Yeah,
like,
that'd be
that to me would be hilarious.
Or a roach, dude. You make a giant roach as the tank
Oh.
form.
I just
I would not
imagine
raid
they'll
with anyone who does that.
they'll come up with some like new lighting system to where you see individual little scales on it and the light goes over it and it changes and it's all chromatic and beautiful and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's spectacular. And it's like, it's the AQ set. You're just like, No,
I'm with you.
I gotta
It's
go.
always been like that.
I gotta go
Beautiful
collect a
success
bunch of
someday.
scarabs and stuff.
Yeah,
God,
they
I
just
hated
they,
farming
they don't even
systems.
add it as new gear. They just reskin it, and then if you have the appearance, then that's what it looks like now.
Yeah,
It's like it all paid off in the end.
it'd be the greatest troll of all time. Like,
Yeah.
it's just an update. It's not a new model. It's just an update. You gotta go get it. It'd just be like, no. And there'd be like 2 people that would just sit there and go, finally. I knew the investment was worth it.
But somebody would be mad because they would prefer the original AQ.
Oh my God.
Yes,
like,
there would
no.
be.
This is not as good as the this is why I'm making an account on Classic.
Classic,
Look,
exactly.
I need
Back in
classic
my
AQ.
day,
Yeah.
I farmed all of this gear, and I want to look like this. This is what I want to do because it's what I had at the time, and I kept it in my bags for years. And then all of a sudden they're like, transmog, like, what's that? And guess what? I had it in my bags already. And then they gave me, holy crap! Do you remember that we got void storage? Does
Yep.
anybody even use that anymore?
I
No,
do.
we don't have-
I do. There's certain very particular things I put into it. The main thing was my the druid tier that I had from Nighthold, which had carried all the way over from the resto druids did not change their tier set.
And you were using
Until-
that until
until
last
the-
week, I think.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So that tier set I had for so long that I'm like, at some point this is going to come full circle. Like I'm going to have to use this again. So I'm just going to put it away in my void storage and leave it in its like cocooned state until I
walking,
have to
dude,
break it
like-
out again.
After the item
Battle.
squish, and you'd be doing time walking firelands in it or
Yeah,
something,
there you go.
it'll be broken.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Look, guys.
I have like a couple things in my void storage, like a couple tier sets that are like near and dear, or were particularly difficult to acquire fully, and like some like deprecated legendary weapons that don't really have any utility anymore. But like, what are you gonna do? Like throw out Shadowmourne? Like I'm not gonna do that. So
I don't need
y-
this
stuff
anymore.
like that, but
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is, it's so cursed that if you throw it out, it just comes right back.
Oh.
yeah, the postmaster
You
sends
get
it to
2
you.
of them. They return with 2 of them every time you throw it away.
I thought I threw this out. It's in my bags. What's going on?
Eventually, your bank is nothing but Shadowmourne. You're just
Shadowmourne,
like,
exactly.
no!
You're
I
like,
thought
"I
it was
threw it away
cool
too
for a
many
minute, and then it got bad.
It's a
You have nobody
pay.
to blame but yourself. I mean, you did it to yourself.
Start trying to trade them to people.
Yeah.
Yes, you must harvest 20 souls with this, otherwise you get 10 more Shadowmoor.
Exactly.
The funny thing is you can trade it with people, but you both end up with Shadowmourne.
Ah.
It's like the
It's like the
worst
Cho'Gall
chain
curse.
letter.
It's a new blood
Yeah.
plague.
Yeah, you're just like, don't come at me with Shadowmourne. You're like, take this Shadowmourne.
Oh man. You open up your mailbox, it's just a whole bunch of Shadowmourns inside the mailbox.
Oh my god.
You can't ever get your actual mail because
Mail.
there's just nothing
Can't get
there.
past all the yeah,
You
can't
never
get
get
past
your
all the
auction
Shadowmourns.
house money
Yeah.
or anything.
No, nothing.
Every time you just destroy it, Uther pops up. I see you've dropped Shadowmourne. I've brought it back to
I don't
you.
want this shit. Get away. Wow.
That's what void
Okay.
storage is for, kids.
Yeah,
Don't-
no, I-
don't
I-
play Shadowmourns.
But the more likely use that I have for it is nostalgic stuff that I got off really old bosses back when I was raiding on those old bosses. So I have stuff off of, I don't know, out of Molten Core and out of Sunwell and out of things like that that were like really impactful moments for me in WoW history, and I've sort of hung on to those things like trophies or memorabilia to sort of look back on, swag from the raid, if you will, to look back on, and that's all gone into void storage.
All right, just have to point out in the chat room, Elisandre. So that's why Arthas is chasing us in that dungeon, to give us Shadowmoor.
Guys, take this. Please. I can't
I re-
even equip Frostmourne anymore.
Like, I
That's
really
right.
regret this
Yes,
decision.
no, it's Frostmourne is permanently stuck in that stone.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah,
wondered
'cause he
why
has
it
no
was
space.
just sitting there. Everyone was like,
Yeah.
why isn't he carrying it all the time? Why does he leave
Yeah.
it like downstairs in the basement? Too many
Can't pick it up.
Shadowmourns. That's the
Just
problem.
can't pick it up.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So yeah, void storage. I do admit that I do have the Keldular in there, as well as I
Nice.
think like my legendary ring, my legendary cloak, and maybe that's about it. I don't think I have that much else. What I would love to put in there is the Tear of Elune that you get as a quest item, and you turn the quest and you still randomly have it. Because
Oh yeah.
hey, look, having a pillar creation in my void storage would be kind of cool. Yeah, I got something really powerful in there, but we don't. Whatever.
Just for a rainy day, you know.
Exactly.
I
When
like
you're-
the
when you're-
idea that you just randomly wound up with it. Like this whole adventure ended and somehow you just still had it and you're like, this seems important. How did I end up with this? And you're just like
But-
holding it out to these important lore figures and they're just like, I don't know, dude, it's fine. And you're
It's like
just
the
like,
ex- it's like
Did
the
anyone
extra
put their
nuts and
name on it?
bolts that come with your IKEA stuff. You finish your IKEA thing, and you're like,
Yeah.
I have a screw. I don't know what this is for, but I
Like
feel
the-
like it's important.
The end of a tailgate. There's just one cooler left over. No one knows whose it is.
Yeah.
you're like,
There's
all
a
right.
tear balloon inside.
I
be like-
guess
it could
I'm
be like-
taking this Tiravaloon home. You take it to the bank. They're like, is this a pillar of creation? Yeah, but I need my inventory and it's not doing anything.
Can you keep it here? I guess it's safe. I don't know.
And then you can fast forward 25 years, and it's like an episode of Pickers where your kids are going through all your stuff after you've died and moved
no.
on, and your kids are like, a tear balloon? What is this doing sitting in here?
Damn, that just got kind of dark, man.
That's cool. So, should we like go open up the Tomb of Sargeras or something?
Yeah, where's the other
yeah.
pillars? I don't know. It's the only one that a hero walked away with.
It's just a tad immersion breaking, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
It's like when you're an extra on a movie set. It's just what you stole.
Wait, do you have a story, John?
No, I don't. My dad does, but I don't.
That's right. Didn't he almost run into Tom Hanks?
He did almost
Literally.
he almost ran over Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that's
right.
And
Oh.
he did steal. So my dad was an extra way in the background. You can barely see him. We only know it's him because we know where he was. He's in the background in Forrest Gump, and he decided he was gonna. He wasn't getting paid. I think he did get paid, but not like that much. And it was just like, I want something to remember that I was in this movie by. And they had these unique these replicas of the old soda bottles that he was, carrying around in the scene. And he could have picked 7-Up or Dr. Pepper. 7-Up, which is like not in the movie at all, or Dr. Pepper, which there's actually a plot point built around. And he took the 7-Up bottle. I was like, of course you freaking did, Dad. Way to go. Take the
Did he
bottle
know?
that
I mean,
nobody
did-
remembers from that movie. Good job.
But did he
Great
know that
job.
the Dr. Pepper was a plot element? Did
Oh, no,
Did he
he
get to
had
read
no
the script
idea.
or?
No.
I mean, he
No,
just
no.
took a shot. He took
Yeah.
he
right.
he
Yeah,
shot
50-50
for
chance.
he shot for the moon, and it's just it didn't work out. But
Didn't go well. But
imagine if it was the other way around, like that would
we
be
don't get
so
to say
different.
much to him because my mom and I spent probably a good 3 months making fun of him for being in a movie called Forrest Gump, saying that nobody would go see a movie called Forrest Gump, that
Whoops.
it was the worst title we had ever heard of a thing in our life, and that he was going to single-handedly kill Tom Hanks's career. That was the joke around the house, and joke was on us. So
I think there's an important lesson there about not judging things without experiencing them. That may apply to the data mining process that's happening.
Oh my
look at that
God.
transition.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh, that was good.
Wow!
That's the best
Dude.
thing that's ever happened on this show. That was
Jason, this is your
whoa.
show now.
Thank you guys.
That's how that works, right, John?
Yeah, please carry us forward. We
I'm
can't.
honored.
We're not worthy anymore.
No.
I think that's what John's story taught me.
Yeah, and you know what?
Not
That's
to judge the expansion. Yeah.
That is a lesson that I learned not from this story, but was reminded of by this story. As I've been looking at the data mining things, there's stuff that you get super excited about, and there's stuff you look at and you go, eh. But the thing I'm trying to remind myself, and I would encourage everybody to do, that let's all grow to be better people. I'm trying to, because I was certainly not this way last go around. There's a little thing we talk about on the show sometimes called the grappling hook. I may have rallied against the grappling hook, calling it the worst thing in the universe, all the way prior to Legion's release, and then had to eat a lot of crow when it became my favorite thing in the known universe. And that's why
what was your
Didn't we go
objection
full
to the
circle,
grappling
John?
hook?
in beta, it didn't work right.
Well,
in beta,
it's Heroic Leap-esque, so of course it didn't work, right?
well, so that's the thing, is like in beta it worked the way it works now that they nerfed it. When it went live, they changed it, and it was the best thing in the universe. And then when the Mythic Dungeon Invitational came out, they were worried everybody was going to do teams of 5 rogues or whatever, and it got nerfed. And
the same thing happened to Leap. No more vertical leaping upstairs, man, and it sucks. Like, nobody. I mean, it's not like warriors and rogues have no place in Mythic Dungeons, but it's not like people are going to stack them to the point that they're breaking the game because they can jump up a flight of stairs. Come on.
Yeah.
Let me
Welcome
heroically leap or
mage.
grapple hook on top of things. I mean, what's the point of being able to heroically leap or grapple hook if you can only move horizontally?
Yeah. It's a
That's not
grappling
heroic,
hook.
or you're not grappling anything.
When does Batman pull out his cool grappling hook gun and just move horizontally
sideways.
across the street?
He just like goes to the refrigerator.
I would use a grappling hook for that.
Well, yeah, people like you and I would, but we're not Batman.
Well, neither are rogues, even though they try to be.
They're reasonably close. I mean, they're swashbucklers, right? Like,
We're pretty much Batman.
Really?
Basically Batman. It says it under our class description. It's tiny text, not a lot of people see it, but basically
Only rogues
Batman.
do?
it's on the page where you pick your spec, and each one of them has a description. And then in parentheses it says basically Batman. Each one of them, yeah.
It's written in Thieves' Cant. I understand why you didn't see it. It's fine. It's just a thing that we see. It's fine.
Gotcha.
And yes, chat room's pointing out accurately, they do have a Batman tier set.
Yeah.
They also have like a Doctor Doom tier set though, so.
Well, I mean, we're basically Doctor Doom too. It's
So
gonna be just the new
Dr.
thing.
Doom or Bat Doom?
John, are rogues like Magneto? Yeah, they're basically Magneto.
But they're also like Wolverine, right?
They're basically Wolverine.
They're pretty close to Wolverine. Yeah, they're closer to Wolverine than Magneto or Doctor Doom.
Yeah, for sure.
They stab things and they can heal themselves a little bit, and so yeah, I think that works.
When compared to Magneto, what's similar? Well, they're both cool.
Mm-hmm. They're both
use
they're both
magnets.
bipeds. Yeah.
yes, but human beings can be them.
They're vertebrates.
Yes.
So Spencer, from the stuff
Yeah.
that's actually come out from the data mine and everything, has anything like actually caught your eye other than some of the visuals that we've seen so far?
No, mainly because I did place a lot of this stuff at BlizzCon itself, so a lot of what's coming out is like, yes, I'm aware of these things. As far as the visuals go, yeah, there's a couple of things that have caught my eye, but yeah, I like that. I'm not like super pumped and excited that there's now data mining happening for beta. Like that's not what gets my engine going for World of Warcraft. I think for me, it's going to be what comes out at the Tuesday announcement, which is I threw in I threw in the question to the Warcraft QA. Of is there any time in the next few months that I should maybe take some time off work to play some extra Warcraft? I'm just kind of hoping that one gets asked so that we can actually figure out some sort of timeline on either beta or live or something like that, because that's what's going to start to get me a little more excited for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to getting a little bit more hands-on with beta. What I did play at BlizzCon was pretty neat and fun, but I also don't like spoiling a lot of stuff. For whatever reason, I have a hard time doing PTR and betas and actually reading text and reading stuff because I don't want to spoil myself. But you do hit those plot points that happen where it's like, yeah, insert cinematic where X person dies here, and it's just a black screen, and you're like, oh great, thanks, that's nice spoiling black screen, perfect. So,
Well, you can imagine it was really cool or really lame, depending on if you like the character or not.
Yeah, pretty much. Usually, all those things are becoming more and more cool. But I haven't seen anything that really stood. Was there something that stood out to you, Jason, at all in this stuff?
I think not so much the brand new stuff, because I sat in the demo room at BlizzCon and I played the floor demo of BFA until I ran out of stuff to do.
Right.
It was Saturday. There was nobody trying to get in there, and they didn't have a timer on the demo or whatever. So I did like every quest I could find in the area that I was playing. And so I saw a bunch of the new models and saw a bunch of that kind of stuff. And I thought it was awesome. I did notice that we're seeing some cool stuff in terms of what I really like to see when a bunch of new assets come out is when old stuff gets reworked. And there are some really cool, like, I mean, they showed this at BlizzCon, but the new quill borers, like, quill borers to me, as somebody who leveled a night elf, that was my initial leveling experience for months with the game. Like, you run into quill borers in Kalimdor, like, everywhere. And the new quill borers are badass looking, and it'll be really cool to see them repopulate, you know, all over, wherever quill borers exist in the game currently with those new models. And also, we were just talking about this before the show, the zombie model with the arrows sticking out of them and stuff, from way back when, from back in those days as well. They remodeled him, and that just looks fantastic. And that's such a cool, like, Warcrafty kind of thing, you know. I mean, going back to War 3 and the Plague of Undeath and all that was one of the things that to me, like, the way that kind of came across set Warcraft as a setting apart a little bit from some of the other video game settings, and seeing those zombie type dudes with the, you know, missing limbs and with arrows sticking out of them, but rezzed up to, you know, modern fidelity is really neat. And I think that'll make, I mean, the other thing to consider with this stuff too that I'm thinking of is, you know, we have the scaling world now, and we're going to have allied races sooner than later. And there's a pretty good reason to go through and level as many allied race characters as you possibly can to get all that sweet heritage armor. And you're going to be in these old zones, and the creatures are going to look like these new, you know, upscaled models, where appropriate. And I mean, that always makes the game feel a lot more vibrant and alive. I mean, obviously they can't remodel the entire world, and, you know, the old zones look pretty janky, especially if you're on top of them, but at least when you're fighting stuff, it'll look cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Pandaria came out, and, you know, you make a panda. Then you go and, you know, stand next to like one of those early human models, and it's just really sad. Like, really sad.
Yeah, that was the broadest, I think, gulf that we've had between character model fidelity was when Pandaria came out, because those humans and orcs were pretty janky compared, especially, I mean, the Pandaren had like more polys in their face than an orc had in his whole body.
Yeah.
So
I just want the Quillbore to still have their same audio file when you aggro them of just
oh, dude, they have to. They absolutely have to. That's what Quillbores sound like. If they change that, I will be bummed, because they need to sound like Quillbores for sure.
Like,
I don't think they'll change that.
Along with Murlocs, that's always the sound that I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like, it just goes.
It's like, what are your fondest audio memories of World of Warcraft?
I want to talk to the Foley guy that made the Quillbore noise. I do feel like he's been overshadowed by the Murloc noise, you know? I mean, if there was no Murloc noise, then the Quillbore noise would be the noise.
Yeah.
It depends on how recognizable you think that Quillbore noise is as a, like, the best way to think about it is, if this was the sound your phone made when you received a text message, what is more recognizable, Quillbore or Murloc, right?
Yeah,
like,
but in a world where there isn't a Murloc,
there isn't Murloc, I still don't know if Quillbore would be. I think it would be the thing.
I don't think anything else is even in league with those two.
I think the thing that makes Murloc iconic is how bad it is, and I think in a world where we don't have that, I think Quillbore might be the most like, this is the beta sound. You left it in the game.
Well, okay, so my big question is, for the Murloc sound, is it seriously just like, hey, look at this guy. What sound do you think it makes, Steve?
Yeah.
Great, we recorded it. Let's go.
If you go and play Warcraft 3, that is not the sound they make. That is a sound that was in there in World of Warcraft and World of Warcraft alone. Somebody just going, all right, good, yeah, good enough.
Think about all the different varied sounds they must have had that they picked that one out of them. Like, they must, like, there would have been at least 5 or 6 takes of different sounds,
I'm a Murloc.
right? And they're like, this is the one we're gonna go with.
That's got to be that's the most fun job, dude. You ever see like doing the sound effects I remember
Roar.
one of the DVDs that Blizzard put out. I think it was with Heart of the Swarm. They were with the Foley team, like the sound effects guys, doing Zerg sounds, and the
Oh,
dude just had like a bunch. They had like a vat of mayonnaise and like raw
Yeah.
turkey, and he was just like glooping the turkey into the mayonnaise and had a microphone up to it. Like that's the most fun job that exists in the universe.
That part, I've seen that, and they grossed me out because in my mind there was no world where he didn't eat the turkey after he dipped it.
That's the perk of the job. You get to eat whatever you make the sounds with, I think.
Yeah, I was just like, he's eating that. He's not gonna just throw that turkey leg out, is he?
I forgot my lunch today. Good thing I'm making Zerg.
When I was doing my internship, I did it at Deluxe Studios in Toronto. At the time, they were filming the Death Race movie with Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
And
man.
so there was a lot of, I got to work with the Foley team for 2 days, and there was a lot of like, okay, we're going to punch this leather jacket a bunch of times to try and get hits. Okay, we're now going to walk on different, they had all these different pits with different, gravel and carpet and wood floors to get all the different footsteps in. And they had all sorts of stuff that they were working with. It was pretty cool. It's a lot of fun.
That's
I dug
neat.
working with those guys.
Like just watching sound design from like, especially like say the Star Wars movie where, Ben Burt had to create the sound of a TIE fighter or a blaster or X-Wing or something like that, where it's just like, who knows what a lightsaber sounds like? I guess I'll make it up today. It's really interesting. So like putting that with all these, fantastic creatures and everything that's in WoW and stuff is just some of the most creative things that are put in the game. I mean, don't get me wrong. The art style, is definitely one thing. The mechanics of the game are obviously something entirely different, putting it all together and stuff. But just like taking all the different aspects, putting it together, and actually making it click and work is such a challenge. And when we get in and play the game, it's just seamless, and we don't even think about that because it's just real. Like that's what it is.
I got in trouble in elementary school because of Foley work. We
Was it gassy related?
no,
I was gonna say that's exactly where my brain went. Same thing. Like none of the farting counts as Foley. Like let's be
that
clear.
probably happened too. But the instance I'm thinking about, we had telephone poles that at one point intersected over the top of our playground field area where people went for recess and stuff like that, and they had to stabilize it, those giant metal cables that were like anchored to the ground. And I discovered that if you hit it with a rock, it sounds exactly like a blaster from Star Wars.
Yep.
So
That's what they used.
kids would gather around it, and we would just mimic blasters at each other and smack this thing with a rock and just pew pew pew, and just we would just do that nonstop. And I got caught smacking that cable with a rock, and the teachers were not too pleased about that.
Was your defense, but it sounds like Star Wars.
I was like, this is clearly what they used. It's fine. If they're allowed to do it, I should be allowed to do it.
I could see that happening.
I mean, it sounded like that discouraged you from a potentially, rewarding and lucrative career in sound
Foley.
design.
Really, it did.
Yeah.
Really, I what's our educational system doing? They could have seen opportunity. Instead, they punished. And
Yep,
look,
right.
they just stymied you.
and now nothing. I'm a nothing. Thanks,
Now
school.
you'll never dip a turkey leg into a vat of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Oh no, he does that normally.
That's
just lunch.
Saturday night. That's just Saturday night on the couch.
It's his fondue. His mayonnaise fondue.
Oh
Yeah.
god, that's gross.
Just some boxers, a t-shirt with a bunch of holes in it, a vat of mayonnaise, and a turkey leg.
Some people use chocolate or cheese. I use mayonnaise.
I don't need anything but this and Netflix. I'm good to go.
I just heat up egg products. And then
Just eat up that mayonnaise.
Netflix and mayo.
Gross.
Yes, it is. But now I have a title for the show.
Netflix and mayo. Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we can get any better than that. So, I've just got to say, you guys, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been a very good time. Thanks for having us. I think we both have definitely dug it. It's nice. It's a nice for us. We have our show is a little bit regimented and newsy. And so we enjoy jumping on other shows where we get to be a little bit more fluid in our conversation and what we talk about.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now,
it's an honor and a privilege to join you guys once again. Thank you so much for having us back. Always a blast hanging out with you guys and talking about WoW or whatever.
Yeah.
exactly. Like turkey and mayonnaise.
Well, one thing I do need to do before we completely transition to Gone is I need to give a very special thank you. For people who are watching the stream, you might notice over my shoulder the statue saga that has been going since BlizzCon has finally come to a close. Sylvanas, I'm still shocked to say this, and it still feels wrong to say this. A listener sent me a Sylvanas statue. And so I want to say a very special thank you, shout out to Avarik. I hope I say your name right. I say it frequently because you're also a patron. And I hope I'm saying it right all this time. But thank you. That's crazy, and that's awesome. And like I said, I don't think I deserve it, but I will continue to try to earn it by doing this and other things that hopefully you'll all dig. And she's hanging out over here, and I couldn't be more pleased. And I will say this, as much as I don't feel like I deserve it, in a world where we have talked about this statue way too much on this show, this is kind of the perfect ending to that story. It's way better than, hey guys, I bought one. So
That's true.
So on that level, at least, I'm pretty thrilled that that's the way it went. But oh man, I'm not worthy. In the words of Wayne and Garth, I'm not worthy.
Just remember, John,
you.
if you actually get to the point where you truly are not worthy for it, she'll come alive and kill you at night.
Yeah. It's a feature. It's on
That's
the
how
box.
they work. Yeah.
If you look at the back of the box, it says
It's why I keep my Illidan one in a different room than I sleep in. That's
Mhm. You might want to sleep with the door closed tonight.
Illidan's can't open doors.
no. Yeah. Well, and I have a Widowmaker next to him to keep him in line, which is good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
John, did you mute? Are you gone?
I'm just scared.
I think he was overcome with emotion.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
He steals your breath. Is what it's in the chat room.
You know, you're
God.
all saying this like this is a bad thing, but I'm just...
He's like, if I get killed by this thing, I will be honored. It'll be a great way to go.
It's the way
This
to
is
go.
exactly what I want.
Well, and the thing is too is if you throw it
And
out,
Anakin will bring
you're
me
just gonna
back
get two of
anyways.
them.
Yeah, right. It just keeps showing up in your mailbox, and then
Oh God.
eventually there's no room left in your house.
We'll just have Sylvani everywhere.
Yes, mini Sylvani.
But anyways, so Spencer, you were talking about a show that you two do.
Yeah.
What show is that?
We do a podcast and a live stream show called The Starting Zone. It is a World of Warcraft podcast for both new and experienced players, and it is really focused around what's going on this week in World of Warcraft and next week in World of Warcraft. So we don't tend to speculate as much on PTR stuff and beta stuff that's coming up. We focus on what's there now and what you could be focusing on now and what you might have not known about in the game at the moment. We do a lot of special segments and interviews with people as well. We have a very cool, fancy interview coming soon, a little teaser that we have been working hard to lock down. So that's exciting. Yeah, I mean, Jason and I just have a good old time talking and bringing people on, and we still need to get John on. That's something that's been on our list for a while. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully that comes true soon. Now that he has a Sylvanas statue, and that's it.
Yeah, that's really all it took. I was like,
Yeah.
guys, you know, this showing up is kind of a person with a Sylvanas statue thing, and I don't have
Yeah.
it yet. I just can't do it.
Well, it's been almost a year since Ben was on with us last, so we're really we're delinquent in our duties. Yeah, I think he came on with us in like March or something last year.
Oh,
It was right
wow.
after the first Pet Battle dungeon came out, so that was like
Oh
7.2.
wow, that has been a while.
Yeah, it's been way too long, but we also record pretty early, so it's it's tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're up on Twitch at 6 p.m. Eastern, so that is the time to find our show over at Spazbot Studios. But it's always been a pleasure. We definitely want to have you both back on soon. I always love the conversations we have with you, although because, like I said, our show is a little bit more newsy, I always feel a little bad whenever we bring people on because I'm like, well, we have these notes and we kind of have to work our way through them.
This is what happens.
We still
when
want to talk to
on.
you. So
when we have guests on, we write 75 minutes of notes, and then I talk for 85 minutes, regardless of what other guests are on the show, and then the show's over.
Yeah, I try my best to reel Jason in. Jason tries his best to keep me
on
informed and on the actual level with what I'm saying. So
I'm like Hakeem Olajuwon in the late 80s and early 90s. You can't stop me. You can only hope to contain me.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. No.
All right. Well, you guys have anything else to plug? Twitter handles? Any other place that they can find you guys?
Sure. If you're looking for me online, you can find me over on Twitter at Spencer_Downey. And like I said, I do that World of Warcraft podcast called The Starting Zone, which we stream on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on twitch.tv/Bazbot Studios. And then I also do another podcast called Super Heroic, and it is about comic books that evolve into television shows and movies. And it's a lot of fun too. Right now we just dug into a whole bunch of comics and had a really good big comic chat. We're also talking about Black Lightning, which has just come out on the CW and it's on Netflix in Canada. And it's actually a really good show too. So we've been enjoying chatting about that over there. Jason, how about you?
So you can find me on Twitter as well. I'm over there at Shieldwald, and I try to stay Shieldwald as much as possible in WoW as well. You can find me streaming on Twitch over at twitch.tv/Shieldwald. Stream raid nights, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Sundays, starting at 7:30 Eastern. And and then I'll do like Mythic Plus dungeons and whatever else is happening in the game afterwards. And right now, we're farming Heroic Antorus and working on some Mythic stuff. So if you want to see what it looks like when I'm Prot Warrior-ing and raid leading.
When he's right in the groin of a boss. This is exactly what you can see.
Nothing but boss crotch for up to 2+ hours. That is the channel for you.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other more private places to view that type of stuff as well.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily on Twitch. That may be a terms of service violation.
Sure.
This is, it's just video game bosses.
Bosscrotch.com. Wait, don't go there.
Don't go there because we don't know what's there.
We don't know what that is.
I think I just did.
Oh.
I may not be allowed on the internet anymore.
It's a Metal Gear Solid fan site.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Big Boss, but you
Crotchier.
know what? Never mind. John, how about you? Where can people find you?
Hey everybody, if you want to know what I'm up to, the best way to do it is to follow me on Twitter at John_Jagger. This week, I'm going to spend just a quick moment to plug one thing in particular because I'm so excited about it. Tomorrow is the first streaming episode and soon to be podcast episode, and it'll be up on YouTube and all of that, of There Will Be Dungeons, which is going to be me, Scott Johnson, Bo Schwartz, Kristen Ashton, and Kyle Ferguson playing us some D&D. It's going to be in a modified setting, so it's going to be kind of Mad Max inspired. That should probably surprise nobody. And I cannot wait to play it. So we're going to be streaming the first episode tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time. That will then get archived on YouTube, and there will be a podcast version if you want to listen to it. And I can't wait. Bo's going to be our DM. We all have characters. I am playing a bard of sorts named Stanley Billings. And I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. So hope you will join us for that, either live or on the archive. And that's my thing. I have used up all my plug time on that.
Questions. So are you guys then doing Team League all through the day for hero stuff, and then you're jumping into that? You can spend like the whole day together. You're just ordering pizzas and just hanging out together for the whole day?
So that's a good question because
you're getting a pajama party.
As
you normally stream the Team League stuff. So.
Yes. So as Spencer aptly noted, that is our Team League team doing something different at our Team League time. So for the time being, Team League now takes place after Core.
Score.
There you go, Ben. I gave you your opportunity.
Thanks. I have to
Um,
say it in every episode, otherwise I don't get paid.
Uh,
All right.
and so that will be airing after we finish that show. We usually will do a couple games there, and it's not as much, but you know, getting schedules all organized is hard. So we're gonna see if we can maybe find a place to bring it back more permanent. But also with HGC, it feels weird to be streaming Heroes when we're also encouraging people to go watch HGC at the same time. So there's kind of a nice middle ground to both of these things.
Nice. Cool. Are you going to sing
Sounds
songs?
I am not going to sing songs because I'm not that kind of bard.
Oh, fair enough.
Ben,
Yes, John.
where can people find you when they're looking for the Ben?
Well,
The Bens.
That totally
when
threw
they
me off
need
for a
it, when they need a case of the Bens.
if you're looking for the Ben, go to Ben the Mage on Twitter.
Ooh,
Also,
careful.
you can say it at Ben the Mage.
You're starting to
'cause
get into
I screwed it all up.
sexy Simon voice.
You know what? That's going to be another T-shirt we sell whenever we get shirts back up on the store, on a store.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, there's that. Also, I highly recommend that you check out twitch.tv/Ben Bumhofer, because sometimes I stream there by myself. Sometimes I stream there with Nevermore. And in fact, Wednesday or Monday, Tuesday, one of those days, we streamed us some Super Mario World and spent way too long trying to beat like one or two different levels in the last world.
I was gonna say I pulled it up for a little bit and I saw you guys in the last world. I'm like, oh, they're almost done. Apparently that was not true then.
It took a while, but no. Also, all that we have left is Star Road and actually beating the game.
Nice.
We've done everything else, and I think I've gotten all of the secret exits that were hidden all over the place up to that point. So we'll find out. There is one ghost house in question that might have a second exit that I didn't remember, but we'll find out. But anyways, I do throw that also up on YouTube, which I don't have a really cool link for it, so just do a search for Ben Bumhofer and you'll find me. But other than that, Battle Pets with Eludra, where we talk about battle pets in the World of Warcraft. This show, however, Azeroth Roundtable, you can find us on Twitter. We are at AzerothRT. We have a website. It's AzerothRoundtable.com, where you can find a link to every single one of our episodes that we've ever done, as well as a link to our Discord server, where we chat it up and stuff. But even more so, if you have any questions, comments, or want to tell us what you think of the new beta changes that are ultimately going to be changed 20 times over before the game ever comes out, send those to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com.
That's right. And of course, as always, this show is made possible by our patrons who support us over at patreon.com. A huge thank you to all of you. Special thank you to our newest patron, David H. Thank you for joining the crew, the group, the people.
You know what? We need a really cool descriptor for our fans.
The
arties.
Oh, you said cool, and then you suggested arties.
Yeah, I know.
We'll think about it. It won't be
I definitely
that.
think you guys should just kick it around on air and just figure it out right off the top of your head. That seems to be the way to do that.
Yeah, like if you wanted a really cool name for a Star Wars podcast, you could just come up with it on the
Exactly.
fly.
No, that's not on the air though.
Wait, I need to know, is that taken? That's too good of a name. I can't say what it is.
Well, we'll finish up the show. We can look it up
Hold
in
on.
a couple minutes.
It's an
here.
easy thing to search. It doesn't look like anybody's using it. I think we're good. Anyway, and as always, a special shout out to the Murloc Club, Mimi H, and Alicia A, Avarik W. Hey, it's you again. Extra thank you again to you. Aaron and Simon, thank you so much for being a part of the Murloc Club. Ben, give them a special shout out. Good job. Did well. Okay. You good?
What?
Okay. So thank you. If you want to join our patrons, patreon.com/AzerothRT is the way to do it. Thank y'all.
Yes, and with that, Spencer, Jason, thank you again. John, it's always a pleasure talking to you. And everybody, be good to each other. Till next time. Yay! Woo!
Woo! Woo! I don't know why I was like initially super excited, and then I was like, no, we got to reel that in.
That's
But
just how
then
you
continued to woo anyway.
Woo!
Like,
Woo.
woo.
Woo. It's woo.
Woo,
It's
woo,
just woo.
woo.
Oh, no, don't do that. Ugh. It causes me physical pain.
Wow.
Wow.
Good night, everybody.
Wow.
And that's a podcast.
Wow.
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 Ooh.
Oh, what did they do for the post show? I don't know. They just
They
went
made
and started
grunting
making
noises.
noises.
It's almost like Tim Allen, like Home Improvement.
Yep. In stereo.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that show doesn't ever seem to be on in syndication.
Yeah, that one
show's
really didn't have legs. did it?
Always in syndication.
I don't even know why it was good.
I loved
Every
Home
single
Improvement
episode.
when I was younger.
Oh, here's something. I'm going to soup it up and get hurt. The end.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
It's all it needed to be.
Oh,
yeah.
John, so people do want to know how your dad almost ran over Tom Hanks.
Oh, right. That's so the problem is it's not an interesting story. He was driving and he went around a corner and there was Tom Hanks and he hit his brakes and therefore didn't hit Tom Hanks. And that's literally the full story. And then Tom Hanks waved at him and crossed the street and my dad drove home. Storytelling.
Tom Hanks is a cool guy. That's
See?
a takeaway. You know, Tom Hanks is like the biggest movie star in the world. Almost gets run over by an extra, and he's like, "That's cool, man.
What are you gonna do?
No harm, no
That-
foul."
That's actually how he got into being an extra. Tom Hanks is like, oh, you almost hit me. I'm sorry. Want to be in a movie?
Chat. Yeah, that was unsatisfying. Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't
That's
tell
why we
the
didn't tell it.
story.
Yeah.
There's literally saying my dad almost hit Tom Hanks with his car is about as interesting as it gets. I have a friend who almost got hit by Alice Cooper in a car. But guess what? That story is my friend was standing in the street and Alice Cooper almost hit him with his car and then
Wait.
he didn't.
Why was Alice Cooper driving his own car, man? Shouldn't he have a
Dude,
driver?
It wasn't his
Alice
car.
Cooper is
That's
a
the whole
wheelman?
thing. It wasn't his car.
He was at a car show.
was
Alice
getting away.
Cooper loves cars. And so
Yes,
we
he
were
does.
at,
He also loves golf.
Yeah, he's a big golfer, man. Which
Yeah.
is super
Alice-
rock and roll.
Alice Cooper is very cool. I have a few stories of me going over
that's
to his house
right.
and hanging
You've been
out.
to his house.
Really?
I forgot about that. I was just
Yeah.
about to say, it seems like everybody in Arizona has Alice Cooper stories, and then I forgot Ben literally has like top tier.
Multiple.
Like he went out over there and hung out.
Yeah.
Is his house like Alice Coopery, or is it like just an old
No,
guy's house?
It's just a normal house. I mean,
Yeah.
I've known he and his wife since like grade school and stuff. They're awesome.
Oh,
So-
really? That's
Nice.
funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's all.
And then Ben told
He
him,
seems like a
"Hey,
pretty,
try to
like,
kill John's
laid
other
back dude.
friend."
Even though he's got like the wacky stage persona. Obviously.
Oh yeah, it's stage persona is
Like,
just that. It's
he's-
just stage persona.
He seems like the most like laid back dude.
Oh yeah, it's great. And in fact, one of the best things is so my first job was at a movie theater because don't know if you know this, love movies. So
And that's like a typical first job. I mean,
yeah.
that's a lot of
It-
kids' first job.
it was like just summer sometime during the week or whatever, and I'm just doing my concession stuff or whatever, and then all of a sudden Alice Cooper shows up with two of his kids, and the girl I was working with was talking to one of the kids. She's like, your dad looks an awful lot like Alice Cooper. I just looked up, I'm like, oh hey, Mr. Cooper. He's like, hey Ben, how's it going? It's like, oh, it's going good. And then like after they left and everything, she like freaked out. She's like, you know them? I'm like, yeah, they're cool. That's nice. But yeah, he's just a normal dude.
Yeah.
So
Didn't you call him Mr. Cooper and not Mr. Fournier or Fournier?
yeah. Well, the weird thing is when he ever orders food, he's like, I need to feed my Frankenstein.
Oh, he better, dude. I'd be like legitimately upset if he didn't.
Thanks, chat. I'm glad you're here to tell us what's a good and not good story.
Ben wins story time this week.
I didn't ever claim my story was good. I deliberately didn't tell it because
I mean,
it
you
wasn't.
went out of the way to not tell it because it wasn't
True.
really a story. I mean, the story kind of climaxes right at the beginning.
Yeah, you can tell
My
it
dad
in a line.
almost ran over Tom Hanks. That's the story.
Yes.
Then he didn't, and it's over.
Yes. Did you read in the news where Tom Hanks got run over by a car? Oh, you didn't? Then I guess he didn't end up hitting him with the car.
Remember when Tom Hanks was in movies for the last 25 years because he didn't get run over by a car in 1994?
Spoilers.
How did that happen? I don't know.
Well, we might have some young people in our chat room who didn't know that he didn't get run over by a car in 1994.
That's true.
True.
That is true.
You never know.
It's hard to get kids interested in history. So
That's Tom Hanks' history, though. Ooh, what a story!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Back in the
that's
early
really good.
90s, Tom Hanks decided that it was a good day to go for a walk. When he was taking a walk down the street, unfortunately, a horrible man saw him and stepped on the gas pedal and chased him down.
It was just like that scene out of Forrest Gump, where the vehicle
Yeah,
chasing Tom Hanks.
Everybody remembers that scene in Forrest Gump where he gets run over by a car.
He almost
Innocent
does.
bystanders were
It's
yelling.
when his braces break off his legs while he's running.
They were yelling, "Run, Tom!"
That's where they got
run!"
the idea, actually. They weren't going to put that scene into the movie. They
Yeah.
didn't even know about it. After he had this experience, he went and talked to the director. And so, see, now it's a good story,
Yeah.
John. So now you can be like,
Yeah.
you know how there's that scene where Forrest, run, and he's running and the vehicle's chasing him? My dad inspired that scene by almost hitting Tom Hanks with his car.
Yeah, he was like, guys, I just realized today almost getting hit by a car is scary.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like let's put it in the movie. Put it in there.
Yeah.
So, chat, I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a good mood, but chat room wanted to know if there's any horror month news. I've been texting Aaron, and we have a meeting next week. That's all I'm gonna
A
say.
meeting or lunch?
We are meeting
Or
digitally
lunch?
over a chat platform.
Is it during
talk-
lunchtime?
No, it's during the
Okay, good.
evening, probably.
Dinner time?
We're not.
You're
There's
having a
no
business
food
dinner.
involved. Why do you?
Well,
Ben
look,
only
last
meets
time-
when there's food involved.
I've mailed him a
That's the-
tub of mayonnaise and a turkey leg. We're gonna.
Right.
Well, John, just the last time I saw Aaron, it was at a wedding reception, and he was eating. So I just picture him eating every time.
He
Ah,
just hasn't
he does
stopped
stuff.
eating since
Fair
that
enough.
reception.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a constant state now because
Yeah.
that's,
And it was
that's
it was in the
same as ever.
evening, so obviously it's
Which
dinner time.
I don't know why I'm doing this. So my job just changed at work. I now potentially have to work more hours than I did before. I've
no.
got this new D&D thing that we're doing. I've got all the extra work that came with doing that. Not granted, not as much as Bo or other people on there, but it certainly has been more work. We've added to make Team League on another night and all of that. And then I was like, hey, what if I tried to make another show that was always hard to make happen in a week happen? So,
Well, that's why we always suggested do it like bi-weekly or possibly monthly
plan is monthly.
or 3-weekly.
Plan is monthly. The way I'm thinking of doing it is I think we're going to record. We're going to split the episode into 2 parts and do 2 episodes a month.
Ooh, that's a good way of doing it.
And
We'll see what
is this-
happens at your dinner meeting.
it might be a little bit of a wait because the other theory that we're doing is that we're going to try and do... We're probably going to try to do 3 episodes, and then we will start putting them out after the fact. Like, they won't be live or anything, and so we'll
Nice.
always be 3 episodes ahead.
That's probably a good idea.
It's a good feeling for when Christmas or BlizzCon or something rolls around your way.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a
So
show
the
that
question-
doesn't
is this
have
where
a
you-
drive.
Is this a show where you watch horror movies and then talk about them?
No, this is a writing show that I did, and
Nah.
it was very difficult to do. We used to do it on a weekly basis, and it was every week we would try to record a show and then write a short story and then record an audio version of that story and then hear
Wow.
each other's version and then come on the show and critique it in a week. And hey, surprise, that turned out to be a lot to have to try to do each and
Yeah.
every week.
Well, when you had those word limits, it worked out pretty well until you just started breaking all the word limits and didn't care.
Yeah. There was a structure for a little while, and then the structure fell apart.
Yeah, but I do have to say that is as someone who, and I think I said this like probably last week or the week before, but as someone who enjoys your writing, I am looking forward to this.
And I thank you first, and second, it's been a long time since I've written, and I need practice a lot.
Start with a story about Tom Hanks.
Oh, dude, make it really scary.
Yeah.
Like maybe
Tom-
Tom Hanks does get hit by the
You
car.
know what the most
No.
here's
His evil twin, Tom Shanks.
guy.
Oh no!
Tom
He's a
Shanks.
serial
He's
killer.
the worst.
Why,
no.
if it's his evil twin, why does he have a different family name?
Because he was adopted.
It's
Would he be
Shanks,
like
but it's in
Ron?
quotation marks.
Ron Hanks or
Look,
Tim
guys,
Hanks.
the horror story is that we almost lost Tom Hanks. That is possibly the most horrifying thing.
It's true. It's true.
There is no story scarier than that. Like, hey guys, picture a world, yeah, without Tom Hanks. Oh shit!
No.
Like that's where it just falls
It's
off.
like
the
having one
rails
without
right
Robin Williams in it, man. That'd be terrible.
Yeah, nobody wants that. That's a
No.
bad situation. So
It is.
Well, that is the situation. Damn it.
Did you see Hologram for a King that Tom Hanks did?
I did
It
not.
was,
but I
it was a
want to.
direct. It was a direct to. I believe it was a direct to DVD movie he did, but it's very good. I was quite surprised.
So
Enjoyed that
no,
a lot.
seriously, go with me on this, John.
Okay.
Tom Hanks is a murderer. It's like an alter ego or something like that. Maybe it's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing or whatever.
Okay.
But after every kill, he says one of his character's catch lines. Like he stabs someone and says, "You've got a friend in me."
You've got mail. Oh, God.
Stab
Or
someone.
or there's a friend named Houston. He kills him and says, "Houston, we've got a problem."
I was running.
It happens.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Oh.
I want to be big. I don't know. Technically didn't say that one. Whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't, but his character did technically.
You know what? I'll allow it.
It's the same character, right? I mean, I think it counts.
Yeah, but big.
Something jumped up and bit me.
He's just
Stab,
stabbing
stab.
a guy
Oh, God.
in the neck.
Dogs. They said it was $1 million moon. If that's true. It looks like you've got about 20 million on you.
Oh man, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Me and Jenny
That
was
include
like
David S.
peas and
Pumpkins, of
carrots
course.
is pretty good too. He's just sitting there doing the strangle. He's just shh. Me and Jenny
I
was
think
like
she
peas
was
and
Right
carrots.
for grandma's dog.
It
He was a
happens.
meat
He was a
dog.
mean dog.
Okay, fine. All it is just Forrest Gump.
Well, I mean, that fits with the theme of the
It does
story,
fit with the
right?
theme. Yeah.
Stab, stab, stab. You got new legs.
Lieutenant Dan ice cream.
Lieutenant Dan, your scream.
Oh, we
But
all
maybe that's-
scream for
maybe-
ice cream.
So maybe he gets hit by a car out of just vengeance. Like they know that Tom Hanks is a serial killer, but they can't bring him to justice. So
Except he doesn't
Oh.
kill him, and then Tom Hanks hunts whoever's driving the car.
he becomes like a supernatural killer from beyond the grave at that point.
I like it.
Stupid
I think
is as
there's-
stupid does.
I think there's something there. I think it's stupid enough to work.
Okay, Wicked Kitten, what's the title?
Yeah, go for it. It's not like you haven't already been off the leash this whole episode.
No kidding. Waiting for the chat room to catch up.
Stream delay.
Jason's
What
out
are
of
she-
focus.
do we have Automod on this channel? Because maybe she'll be automated.
Automata.
I'll accept it.
That was a Genji quote.
I don't think he
No,
can't.
Wicked Kitten.
I don't think he can. I don't think the automod would do anything to a.
Oh
Mod
man.
to a mod.
So I have
Like this.
I have this D20 next to my desk. I actually have had it
Oh.
from playing yep, okay.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that one. We're good. So we've been playing Divinity, and I kept causing problems by stealing things for the team, and it was kind of annoying people that I kept stealing things. So I started rolling a d20 to see if my character resisted the urge to steal. So I've now got this d20 sitting next to my computer desk, and I roll it out of habit, And I got to tell you, it's not impressive. I think this thing needs to be replaced before tomorrow. It's not going well. We're off to a bad start. If this is
It's like a super dorky version of Two-Face.
It is. He's a super nerdy guy.
What's really bad is that he's actually 20 face. He's got different patches all
Oh,
over
no.
his face for like just different ailments.
He started
weird
as Two-Face, but he had a bad year.
Yeah.
Now he's Jigsaw. Are you using physical dice for the game tomorrow, John?
I am, yeah.
Oh. So is Bo actually like pen and papering this whole thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay,
we're
this is
gonna be using D&D
interesting.
Beyond for some
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I like if I wasn't actually rolling dice, I'd feel bad. Like that's how I got my stats. I rolled for my stats. Some people did digital for the stats, but I was like, no, I got 4d6s. Let's do this thing.
Well, I mean, one year at BlizzCon they gave out all those Diablo dice.
That was one of
That's
them.
what I said.
Yep.
Oh wait, maybe it
Handy
wasn't
dandy
one
deal.
of them.
Yeah, seriously, John. If you need a set, I've got a few.
I've got a
Like,
bunch.
if you need to borrow
I mean, I had enough for 4d6s.
I'm telling you, your set is bad. When we played, you never hit anything.
But Ben, like my character sheet is so good. I
know, but you're rolling bad now.
I have a 19 charisma. It's gonna be so good.
Wow. That's crazy. Holy crap.
Like I rolled my stats.
hard.
I willingly took a -1 to my strength. Not that it mattered, just because I felt guilty. But I've got a 19 charisma. I've got a 15 wisdom, a 14 intelligence, a 13 constitution, an 18 dexterity, and a 10 strength. I feel like a beast already.
What instrument do you play?
I use a megaphone.
Awesome. That works. Good.
I don't think
So
it's
I hope
technically
one of
an
your
instrument.
attacks is just you switch on the siren for it. I hope that's right.
I know it's more like a.
Depends on what I wanted to do.
Yeah,
Exactly.
John. That'll
Yeah.
be your vicious mockery spell.
Yeah.
Just what was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What? That'll work.
Yeah.
Well, with that, folks, I think that we're calling it a night.
All right.
Well, I am. I'm talking in the chat room and hinting to John that now might be a good time.
Oh, we should stop the stream. Hey, thanks everybody for being here. You're all good quality people, and we like you. But we're going to shut this off because you don't get to hang out with us all the time, because then you'd be sick of us. So have a good night, and we'll talk to you later.
Good night, guys.